Joining me now for more Lefties Losing It content is comedian and host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze TV. Alex, let's start with Mark Cuban, one of Kamala Harris's top campaigners, a star of Shark Tank. And his comment about Trump never having intelligent, strong women around him has obviously upset plenty of women. Here is one of them.
This is so profoundly offensive. I worked for Donald Trump. I consider myself a strong woman. I consider those around me strong women. Kellyanne Conway, Brooke Rollins, Ivanka Trump, Hope Hicks, Sarah Sanders. That's before we get to the women that Donald Trump elevated to very high levels, like Nikki Haley, who still supports him, like Amy Coney Barrett, who he put on the Supreme Court, or the women currently around him. Susie Wiles comes to mind, Caroline Leavitt. That is so offensive. And you know why? Because it's not just about the women who worked for him. He said the women around Donald Trump. This comes right after the Joe Biden garbage comment.
We also saw this New York Post front page full of capable women who are around Trump. And here are a few more.
It takes a very smart and a very strong woman to look past the lies of the mainstream media, to look past the manipulation of the Democrats and their allies, Hollywood, all of it, to do the research, to find out about a candidate and make your informed decision as a woman, as an American citizen, and say, yes, I am voting for Donald J. Trump. So congrats to all the ladies in the room today. I would also say to Mark Cuban, watch how this group of smart, strong women gets Donald Trump elected 3 days from now.
To me, it is so absurd for them to make a comment like that. But at the same time, I'm actually kind of glad that they did, because I think it's really important for America to hear how they really feel before you go and cast your vote.
We've got Tulsi Gabbard up there, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, a couple of governors. What sort of a idiotic, misogynistic comment was this from Mark Cuban?
Well, there's two things. The first one is that Mark Cuban, when he was the owner of the Mavericks, he recently sold the team, but Sports Illustrated did an expose talking about how there was a culture and workplace that was not friendly to women and that they were being sexually harassed. And there was multiple women that actually complained while Mark Cuban was the owner of sexual harassment. So I think he's projecting when it comes to not having women in high, powerful positions in his company. And, you know, the second thing is you look at all of these women, they're obviously very smart, but this is the problem, Rita. I just went to the Kamala Harris rally in Houston, and the only messaging that they had every single place was about reproductive rights. Nothing about the economy, nothing about immigration. So they've been able to brainwash women into thinking that Kamala Harris loves you because she wants to let you have an abortion and that Donald Trump hates women. It's the narrative that they've been doing this whole entire campaign. And sadly, I'm a little worried that it's working, Rita, because more women have showed up to the polls than men so far.
Well, that said, if men were voting in the same manner that women are voting, as far as showing up to vote, this election would be all over. Let's have a look at some of this fake news that is being circulated by the Kamala Harris team. They've taken a remark from Donald Trump completely out of context, where he talks about protecting women, whether they like it or not, talking about illegal immigration, about criminals coming into the country. But they've twisted it to mean something entirely different. Have a look at what Kamala said and what Trump actually said.
We'll comment on the former president, Donald Trump's remark about women and whether they like it or not. And listen, it actually is, I think, very offensive to women in terms of not understanding their agency, their authority, their right, and their ability to make decisions about their own lives, including their own bodies. And this is just the latest on a series of reveals by the former president of how he thinks about.
I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in. I'm going to protect them from foreign countries that want to hit us with missiles and lots of other things.
The misinformation from the Democrats is incredible, Alex, particularly because they rant about misinformation and disinformation endlessly. but they engage in it more than any campaign I have seen in many years.
You're exactly right. And what Donald Trump is saying there is when he says whether they like it or not, is that he's going to help protect women, whether or not they voted for him. So he's actually being very bipartisan by saying
Exactly.
that I'm going to protect you no matter what. But they have to create this narrative that Donald Trump does not like women because that's the only thing they have, Rita. Literally, this whole election is coming down to reproductive rights, anti-women, pro-women. And I do appreciate what Megyn Kelly said, that they need to, get more female-centric on this campaign. But I don't know if you can defeat the mainstream media in constant barrages from the left saying that Donald Trump hates women, yet he's a great father, has multiple daughters, and he's employed women at the most high, powerful positions. His attorney is a woman. I mean, obviously he trusts women and he supports women. So this is their Hail Mary. This is the one narrative that they have to keep just repeating nonstop so that it brainwashes the American voting class.
Now to some very sad news, and this news is strangely political as well, Alex. Internet sensation Peanut the squirrel has been killed along with Fred the raccoon after they were seized by New York State officials. Peanut was originally rescued by Connecticut resident Mark Longo 7 years ago. He witnessed the mother being hit by a car, took care of this baby squirrel, hand raised it. It became a pet. And these videos became huge. He amassed more than 650,000 followers on Instagram alone. But New York officials seized this pet along with the raccoon and euthanized them. It's incredible. You've got to wonder what is going on in America. Let's hear from the owners of Peanut and Fred. Here they describe how their house was raided by around 10 to 12 officers.
Then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
They got a search warrant?
They got a search warrant. 4 departments and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And then they took them and killed them.
So authorities, Alex, thought that this pet raccoon and Peanut were better off dead than living as pets in this happy family home.
Well, I'm an animal lover and it makes me absolutely sick. I had a neighbor that had a domesticated squirrel and it was the coolest thing. It was just like the video. It would climb on you. It would drink water next to you. I mean, it was just so friendly. And this is just government overreach that they're going to use a warrant to go inside of his house, a total invasion of his privacy. And you feel exploited when something like that happens. It's hard to still love this country, considering they let illegal immigrants through the border. There's people with multiple felonies that get let out of jail without a bail bond. And they're worried about a squirrel. They're worried about a raccoon. Give me a break. We got much bigger issues in this country than a couple squirrels and raccoons.
Yeah, that are absolutely being cared for. There's videos of them daily on the internet, and to put the owners through this degrading experience and then kill these much-loved pets, it just tells you how mad bureaucracy can get. And it's strange, Alex, that this has become a political issue. I even saw an article saying how the right wing has seized on this and is using it to make it an election issue.
Well, whether you're conservative or not, what conservatives want is less government. We want the government not coming into our house and taking our pets, and that's why it's such an important issue. And I hope it resonates. I mean, that poor squirrel. Could you imagine? You have a pet, you raise it from a little baby, and then the government takes it away and euthanizes it. It's like something out of a horror movie.
Absolutely, Alex Stein. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rita.